Yay. Okay. Thank you, Katie. Okay, you guys, I'm so excited for tonight. I know so many of you guys have been wanting to hear just like what Kate and Jennifer are doing. And so I'm really excited that they were willing to come on here and just like share their tips with y'all. And so um I first kind of wanted to follow in like Callie's footsteps as to what they did last week because I really loved how Callie like broke down her points from like when she started to where she is now because I will be so just totally honest with you guys. I remember starting and like looking at Jules and being like, dang, like they must have it so easy. Like, they must just have people flocking to them all the time, or they must not have, ebbs and flows in their business. And like things just must come easy and naturally to them. And that is like literally not the case. I'm sure if you asked any Jewel, they would be like, no, that's not true. And so I just kind of wanted to piggyback off of what she did. And so I wrote mine down. It's not super long, but I did want to share it with you guys just so you kind of see that, like, all of our businesses have ups and downs and just what that looks like and some pivots that we made in those seasons to help us get out of that. And so, really quick, my name's Taylor. If you don't know me, I am an Emerald Ambassador. I've been here for almost 4 years. Jordan Roddenberry is my sponsor. Her and I met on a Facebook group. I did not know her. She did not know me. I wanted to stay at home and she reached out to me. And so here we are. Okay, so a little bit about my timeline. So I joined in May of 2018. Okay. I did not hit silver, which you guys, silver is only adding 3 people. Okay. I did not hit silver until July of 2018. It took me 2 months to go silver. Probably everybody on this team right now has gone silver, probably faster than I have. Okay. It took me 2 months. And so in July, I went silver. In July of 2019, a whole year later, I went gold. You guys, it took me 12 months to go from silver to gold. That is a long time. And then from gold to senior gold, which was a really hard jump for me, I didn't go senior gold until June of 2020. It took me 11 months to go gold to senior gold. Okay. And then from senior gold, obviously, to emerald has been a totally different story. But you guys can see this was a very long progression of my business from silver to senior gold. And I just want to tell you guys some things that I was doing in those seasons that I truly think held me back from moving faster than what I did. Okay. So there's 4 things. One, I played the victim a lot. I remember telling myself, man, if I just had a runner, if I just had somebody that wanted to do this business with me, man, I would be at this rank or I would have this many points. I was doing that all the time, right? And then I was making excuses as to why I didn't have a runner, right? Um, I was not showing up to team calls. You guys, I will literally never forget getting on a coaching call with Jordan and saying, man, I just feel stuck in my business, right? How many of us have said, I just feel stuck in my business? Like me all the time. You guys, and Jordan literally told me, Taylor, you're not coming to team calls. Like, you're not coming to team calls, right? You're not doing the things. And my reason for that is I had a brand new baby at home and these team calls are at 9:15 my time. And so instead of looking at it like, okay, yes, is it like, kind of throwing a wrench in like my normal schedule? Yeah. But I wasn't willing to pivot to make it work. I just made excuses. So I wasn't coming to these. Okay. I was doing no personal development. I thought reading books, listening to podcasts, watching Diamond Dogs, I thought all of that was silly. So I wasn't doing that. I wasn't growing my mind. And I gave myself a back door. You guys, we didn't necessarily, I had just become a stay-at-home mom. I didn't necessarily need the income. We were comfortable, but comfortable is not actually comfortable. And so I was giving myself a back door. And so I was just filling my head with junk. And then I wasn't coming to the things or doing the things that were going to pull me out of that junky headspace. And so when I hit senior gold, I made a massive pivot in my business. Okay. And so now I want to share with you guys how we went from senior gold to emerald. Okay. So remember in senior gold, when I was senior gold, I hit senior gold in June of 2020. Okay. I ended at 275 points. 2 months later, in August, we ranked ruby and ended at 617 points. Okay. The very next month in September, we went senior ruby, which is only I shouldn't say only, which is 750 points. We ended at 873 points. Okay. But then something happened in November. I couldn't tell you what it is. It's just highs and lows of this business. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody. But we went from 873 points in September to 663 points in November. You guys, we dropped almost 200 points. That to me was a lot. Okay. And so at that point, I had an option. Okay. I was either going to go over here and I was going to resort back to my old ways and say, this sucks, Taylor. How did you lose 200 points? Like, look at your team. It's not doing as well as it is. You're not cut out for this. You can't do this. Fill my head with junk, right? I could either do that, or I could come over here and I could say, okay, this sucks. I don't really like this season. I don't like dropping this many points. What can I do differently? How can I pivot to get to my next goal, which is Emerald, you guys, which is 1,500 points? What do I need to do? And I chose this path over here because I knew it was going to be hard, but I knew that's where it was going to get me to Emerald. And 5 months later, we went Emerald, and that's 1,500 points. We went from 663 points to over 1,500 points 5 months later. And so I just want to share that with you guys, not to brag, but to simply say that like there is so much truth to be said that your mindset is everything. I will literally never forget having a coaching call with Tamara Holloway and saying, I just need a runner. Like, I just need somebody to do this business with me. And you guys, she was totally honest with me. And she was like, Taylor, stop looking for a runner and go be your own runner. She's like, you're creating this head trash in your mind that you need a runner to be successful, when in reality, you already have a runner and it's you. So you go be that person. And that changed everything for me. So I started showing up like I was my own runner. I stopped making excuses. I started coming to team calls. I started, listening to Bob Heilig and reading John Maxwell and watching Diamond Docs and doing training videos, doing the things that I was putting off because I didn't think it was actually going to do anything. And we went from ranking up once every year to blowing way past what we were doing before. And so anyways, I just hope that that's encouraging for you guys to know that wherever you are in your business right now, we have literally all been there, and we're all going to continue to go through those seasons because it's just a way that this business goes. It happens. Okay. And so anyways, enough about me. I'm totally sitting in my closet and it's a mess, but life, right? Okay, you guys. So Kate and I did not know each other until this past summer when she nannied for our family. And that is when she became one of my closest friends. And I love her to death. Thank you, Missy. That's so sweet. And so she started about a week before she left for her very first semester in college, you guys. And one of the things I admire about her the most is that she's driven, but she also has a no quit attitude. She is a senior gold ambassador. She went fast start. She is growing an amazing team of tons of people, but she's also really doing a great job at networking to kind of her Gen Z generation. And so I'm just really excited for y'all to hear from her and to hear from Jennifer. They're both doing awesome things. So if you guys have questions as we go, if you just want to put them in the chat, I can go through at the end and we can do some Q&As. So Kate, go for it, girl.
Hi guys. I'm super nervous because I've never done this before. But I'm really excited because I just think it's really cool that we get to do this together and hear each other's stories. So like Taylor said, that I'm Kate. I'm a freshman at the College of Charleston in South Carolina, but I'm originally from Plain City, Ohio. It's like a super tiny town, but I love it. And so I'm super excited because I feel like we're all like such different seasons of life right now. And it's just really inspiring to hear everybody's stories and how like we all came together by this one thing and how we're all like on this Zoom because it's one thing. I just think it's really cool. And so what I'm going to kind of share with you guys tonight is first my story, just how I got with Plexus, my journey, and just how it's been going for me. And then my personal objections. I know that I had a lot of objections when Taylor and I first talked about it. And so I'm talking about those. And then how my business has grown and also some struggles that I've had with it, things that maybe just haven't really gone my way and how I've overcome those struggles. And then having a growth mindset has been huge for me. And then tips for recruiting business builders, and then specifically recruiting college students. That's been like a really big part of my business, I think. And then how to adapt to a new and busy schedule, and then tips on retention. So it seems like a lot, and I do have 6 pages of notes, but we're gonna get through it. And I promise I'm not gonna make it too long. Okay, so I actually started Plexus in August, like Taylor said, before I went to school. I think it was a very last minute thing. I was not planning on doing anything like this ever, really. It was just kind of something that I envisioned for myself. And so I had a job for 4 years. It was an ice cream shop. And it seems like really like, oh my God, yay, an ice cream shop. But it was actually pretty stressful. I was there for 4 years, and 3 of those years I was a manager. And so I had some experience in just kind of being like, not in charge, but I mean, I guess in charge, just kind of like having like an authoritative kind of role. And that was really all I had. And I was like, maybe this could help or something. I don't know. Um, but anyways, it was just really not filling me up anymore. And I knew I want to work with kids when I get older. When I graduate, it's what I want to do. Like, it's my passion. I love kids. They just fill a little hole in my heart for some reason. And so I actually quit my job of 4 years, which was really scary to do for me because it was my norm. It was what I knew. It was what my family knew. And so and I had a steady income, but it just wasn't filling me up anymore. And so I knew I wanted to work with kids. So I actually put on Facebook, like one of the Facebook groups, I think it's called, is Plan City Moms and the No. It's like our little town Facebook thing. And I was like, I really like am not I don't really know what I was doing, honestly. I was just like, my name is Kate. I've had this and this and this in my experience, and I really want a nanny. And so I had like probably, I don't know, a lot of people reached out to me, but I had 4 interviews, and Taylor and I had our interview, and hers was the second to last one. And so other ones went really well, but I met Taylor, and she immediately just made me feel like I was her family. Like, the first thing she said to me, she was like, if you do choose to work with us, and if this works out, like, you will be part of our family. And then I met Zach and the boys, and I just knew, like, I knew it was them. And ever since then, I have been family to them, and it's just like the best relationship. And so, yeah, I love them so much. And so Taylor actually introduced me to Plexus towards the end of the summer, and I was very, very, very skeptical, just because I didn't think that I wasn't looking for a job at all. I wasn't looking for anything like this at all. There's such like a negative connotation behind network marketing. And I think, I don't know, I know if I was approached by somebody who I didn't know or didn't trust, I definitely would have said no, but I trusted Taylor with everything. So I was like, okay, if she thinks I can do it, maybe I can do it. And so I did it, but I really didn't think it was possible because there wasn't really anyone at the time that I could relate to and that I could just kind of like work with in college and be able to figure out both at the same time. And I didn't want to feel like I was on my own with it, because most people at my age, it's jobs consist of like Wendy's or babysitting or like retail, and it's like minimum wage jobs that you hate, and so and that is a normal for my age, but it didn't have to be my normal. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that I could get more out of my college experience, and so that was really cool. And I was super interested when Taylor would talk about it because it was such a big part of her life. But I just never thought that it was possible for me. And I really did have so many objections to every single thing that she said to me. And my main objection was I was terrified of what people would think of me. And that was like huge. When I first told my parents and my boyfriend and my friends and everybody about it, they were supportive, but I could just tell that there was like, oh my God, yay, okay. But like also like, I don't know, and so there's like a level of skepticism that I had to kind of push past to be able to say yes. And that was hard for me because I care about what they think of me. I love them, and so I've always loved working and making money. It's really what makes me feel good, and which sounds weird, but like really fills me up. I like to be independent and like help my parents out with school. Being out of state in Charleston is not cheap at all. But I've been able to help out with that a lot, which has been one of the biggest blessings. I really didn't have time for a 9-to-5 job being in school. Obviously, like a 16-hour course is a lot, especially with a job on top of that. And so I really didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to do something. And then Lauren Thomas came along, and I was like, oh my God, I can do this. Because she was like my person to go to. I remember after Taylor told me about Lauren, I followed her on Instagram when I was at Taylor's house, and then I was like just waiting to go home. I was like, Taylor, I love you, but I really want to go home and stalk this girl like crazy. So I went home, and I showed my mom Taylor. I stalked her on like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and I was like, I want to be her. So that's when I was really like, okay, I can do this, because that I finally had somebody to relate to and something that I could be like, I don't know, like she was in my exact same shoes right now, and she did it. She did more than it, you know what I mean? And so it just seemed so possible. And I think that's the biggest thing about this is catching the vision. And I think that's like the main part of like recruiting is catching the vision. So I saw somebody who's in the same exact season of life that I was in. That's really all that I needed. Like I didn't need anything else but that. And so something really just clicked for me, and it just all seemed so possible. So looking back, I'm really thankful for Taylor for a lot of reasons. But in this case, for helping me go fast start silver, that was like my big like moment when I first started. So she made it super simple for me, and she asked me before I even signed up, like, who your 3 people are that are in like your inner circle that you knew if you would say like support me, do this with me, like be my accountability partner, they would say yes. And so it seemed just really doable, and that was really what I was needing, especially with school and everything. It was hard for me to imagine having a full-time job on top of school. And I think when you talk to somebody about like IPA and events and I don't know, new reach outs and posts, it's just very overwhelming at first. And it's like, oh no, like I can't do this. But she made it seem super, super doable for me. And so I was like, okay, like we'll try it out. And after I got my first 3 ads, which were my mom, my grandma, and one of my old middle school friends, which was super random, but I was super thankful that she gave it a chance. After I got my first 3 ads and went fast start silver, I was actually in the car when it happened, and I was like freaking out with my mom. And I was like on a complete high. I did it in 8 days, and I was just so freaking proud of myself. Like I was just like, I proved them wrong. Like I finally did it. And it sounds so silly, but after that 1 week, I literally was like, okay, I'm going gold tomorrow. Like it's happening. Like I'm doing this. I can do it. And so obviously my next goal was senior silver. September came around and it literally went the complete opposite direction. September is like scarred me now. I actually lost a person. Instead of gaining like 10, I actually lost one. So I wasn't even silver anymore. And I really just felt like hopeless, and like I failed myself. Like I failed Taylor, like I failed Jordan, and my mom, because like she believed in me and she was the one who was like, you can do it, but like I'll be here when you fail, basically. She didn't actually say that, but I could just kind of tell that she wasn't like all on board, I guess. And so I really just felt like a failure to everybody, because Taylor and Jordan put so much work and time and effort into me and my business and what I could do, and I just didn't I didn't succeed. And so that was a really hard thing for me. And honestly, I I think if my parents would have been like, I'm supporting you like to the full extent, I definitely would have quit after that, because I was just very like frustrated. But I think the reason I didn't quit is because everybody was doubting me. Everybody was saying like, it's a pyramid scheme, it's blah, 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 it's this and that. And then I failed, and I was like, no, like this, they're not going to win, you know? And so I was determined to get to gold. That was like my big thing. Um, and so I remember calling Taylor after my paycheck came in, and it was $39 for 1 month of work. And I was like, oh dear God, this is not going to work. And so it was really defeating, because it was just like, I was doing the work. I really was doing the work. I was doing my IPA, and I just came off of like this high from going silver. And so I was really excited. I was doing the work every single day. I was watching the podcast Taylor would send me. I was working on my business, but I literally had to start from scratch because I only had 2 people on my team and I wasn't even silver. And so it's just really like, it was really just being tough, like Jordan said, like mentally tough, because I had nothing to show for it. I was like, I'm doing this, but I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. And so I remember feeling like I never wanted that defeat again. And I called Taylor and I was like, we are never doing this again. This month will never happen again, because that really sucked for me. And I was like, I'm like a very like numbers money person. And I was like, $100 for a $39 paycheck. And I was just very like frustrated, I guess. And then November came around, and that was like, November is like my favorite month now. It's like a complete 180. And so I double ranked senior silver and gold, and I almost triple ranked senior gold, but it didn't happen. It was really close, but it didn't happen. And so I just tell you guys all this, not to brag at all about November, but it's just cool to see like how if you choose to say yes, and if you choose to work through it, then it'll happen. Like if you quit, you won't know, you know? And so after that, I was just super, super excited. And I just want you to know, like, understand that like it's okay for your business to look like a roller coaster. It's not going to be like this all the time. And that's what I thought it was when I was silver. I was like, all right, we're going gold tomorrow. But obviously it didn't happen. But it's okay for your business to be like up and down, maybe down some more, because that's what I went through. And I'm glad that I did, because November wouldn't have meant that much to me if I didn't have months like September. I don't know what happened October. I just forgot about October. I don't know what happened that month. But anyways, so yeah, you could be putting in all the work and doing all the things, but sometimes you'll have a month of just planting seeds. And Taylor always tells me like you're planting seeds, and I hate that because you can't like see the seeds being planted, you know, like it's not physical growth, it's not points going up, it's not helping your team rank, or it's not you re-ranking, it's just planting those little seeds. And that drove me crazy for like 3 months because I was just like, I don't want to plant seeds, I want to re-rank or whatever, or double rank, whatever. But yeah, it's okay to be putting in the work and not seeing the results, because it is happening, you just can't see it. And so when I didn't see physical growth for me, like 2 months ago, that was failing. It's not anymore, but that was failing for me for sure. And so that was like a huge mental breakthrough I had to get through, because I think if I was still in that mindset, I definitely would be way farther behind in my business than I am right now. And so, yeah, I have right here, it says, if you would have told me 4 to 5 months ago, okay, it's okay, you might not have hit your goals, but you're still planting seeds, I would have been like, well, no, it's not okay. I didn't actually see any growth. So that was like totally my mindset, but it's changed. And so I feel a lot better about that now. It's actually really funny because I can confidently say that 95% of my team has told me no. Like my team now told me no the very first time I reached out to them. And so those seeds, they were my seeds, and now they're on my team doing it with me. And so it's just really cool because this mindset that I had never would have, like, I never would have had them if I would have just given up and been like, well, they're not giving me, they don't want to do it with me. They don't want to rank up. They don't want to do this and that. So if my mindset was still in that like realm, I definitely would not have had them with me. And so that just like is so scary to think about because I love them. And so that's really scary. But yeah, they've all like ghosted me before. They've all told me it was too much money or whatever other objections. People have come to like the Monday opportunity calls and not wanting to commit afterwards. And I was like, how? They're so amazing. Like I didn't understand it, you know? But they are all on my team now, and it's just amazing. It's so cool. And that's really all I was doing. I was so scared about planting seeds, and I hated it. I hated planting seeds, whatever that meant. But it's all I was doing, and it worked, you know? And so I don't know. I know you guys are all laughing at me, but it's true. I really did hate it. But yeah, so that's a little bit of my story until this point, I guess. But there are a couple things I really want to talk about, like more in depth, just kind of like my business side of things and things that I view as game changers in my business. So when I first started, I was not thinking at all about business builders. I wanted to add people for the products and stay in my lane and do my thing. And I had a very clear plan mapped out of how I was going to personally recruit myself to Diamond. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But that was my plan. And I really thought it was going to happen. Because I didn't think I was really good enough to be like, to lead somebody else to get to the point where they're hitting their own goals. And I didn't think I knew enough about it, because I would call and I would ask Taylor, like, I don't know, probably 10 questions a day. And I was like, how am I going to answer somebody else's questions if I don't even know these questions, you know? And so I was super, super, super terrified of people working the business with me. And it wasn't that I didn't want them to work the business with me. I just felt so new and that I wasn't to the point where I could give them what they needed to succeed in this, if that makes sense. Because this job really is all about like the experience you have with it. And I think if you don't have somebody coaching you one-on-one and being that person for you no matter what, then it's not going to work, you know? And so I was absolutely terrified when I got my first business builder. And I was like, Taylor, she's yours. I don't know what to do with her, you know? And so I was just really freaking out. But I was excited, but it was like a nervous excited because I really didn't want to fail her, because this is such a cool experience. And she was my age. She's not here anymore, but she was my age. And it wasn't, I'm not going to blame myself for her leaving, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay. But she was my age. And so I was like, she needs this opportunity because this is so cool for people that are in college. It's the best thing ever. And so I was really excited, but I didn't realize it at the time. But I was doing it for 2 to 3 months. And when I first started, I was really lonely. And I really didn't understand how lonely I was, because I didn't understand how fun it would be to do this to somebody else. And there's a quote from Christina Williams, and it literally explains my life for the past however many months. And I love her. She's like my go-to hype up person. And she said her hard looked way more fun than my hard. And she was referring to somebody who had like a bunch of business builders with her. And then she talked about how she did her whole business from like just her recruiting, and it was like so hard. It was so boring for her, and it was just like a constant struggle. But her friend had all these people to work with, and it was just super fun. They would go on these trips together. And she said that, and I was like, that is how I was. I want to do it myself. I don't need help. I need to get to Diamond by myself. And I'm so glad I don't have that mindset anymore, because that was not going to work. But yeah, it's just been super fun to have business builders with me. And then that frames a question, just kind of like, what kind of team can I build was my main thing, because I knew I wanted to build a team. I knew I wanted to do this with other people. I knew how fun it would be, but I didn't know what my team meant, like why, I don't know, how I would get to from point A to point B, you know, and how I would do that and how I'd help other people. And so I know the big thing for me actually started, I think it was 2 months ago, maybe. We had a book study and Jordan asked us the question, what kind of, or what 4 qualities do you want your team, do you want to see in people on your team? And that was really huge for me, because before, like I was like, anybody who came to me, I was like, yep, Adam, like come do this with me. Like I didn't know, I didn't care, you know, and I was like, all right, another person. But it really is about putting like quality on your team, making your team fitted to like your goals, I guess, and then their goals too. And so for me, when I answered this question, it was just like scary, honestly, because I was like, I don't know what kind of team I want to build. Like I have no idea. But I did answer them, and my 4 things were high work ethic, faith-based, resilience, and supportive and open to new things, being open to trying new things and that kind of things. And so I think a big thing for me and a big turning point in my business was putting a high value to my team and having that confidence, because to me it was what builds a strong team that's really fun to work with people who have the same goals and values as you. And I didn't realize that before. I was like, I don't know, I think I was very stuck in my own ways before Plexus, but yeah, it's just been super fun. So I would just, my biggest tip about just kind of business builders is be picky. It's okay to be picky. It's okay to, you know, make your team how you want to make your team, because people on your team, if they're not going to work hard, like I don't want somebody who's not going to work hard on my team. I don't want somebody who's going to make excuses or not be open to trying new things or being open to making a post. Like that's just not fun, you know? And I think it's okay to put a high quality and high expectations on your team, because you deserve that. And I didn't realize that, but I know that now. And that's helped me so much with growing the team that I want to grow. And it's just so fun now. So that's really what I have for like, I guess, recruiting and building like your team. So I think all of our teams are so different. And I think that's a good thing. Like we all have different people on our team with different goals. And then, so this is kind of a lot of info, but so tips on like recruiting business builders. My biggest tip for this for sure is to relate to people. When I first started, I was reaching out to people who I wasn't relating to, I wasn't able to relate to. I actually used Facebook for the first like 3 months, and Taylor's probably like, oh gosh, she has like 100 followers. This is not going to go well, because I really didn't have followers on Facebook. I never even used Facebook. And so I was terrified to post on Instagram, because I have most of my following on Instagram and all my friends follow me. And again, I was just really scared of what people are going to think of me. And so once I finally started reaching out to people that were my age on Instagram, people that I could relate to more, that's when I really started seeing a growth in my business. So if you're like me and you're terrified to reach out to somebody because, I don't know, because of their I don't know, social status, or because they're following, or because of whatever, like just do it. Because I started posting on Instagram, and that is where I got probably 90% of my team, which is crazy, because I would have never done that like a month ago. It's just so scary. So definitely being able to relate to people that are in your same season of life is really, really helped me a lot. And then one thing that I've learned is through how to use other stories to relate. So just kind of, if somebody is going through something that you went through, like maybe like for Taylor, if it was like a headache story, like she could relate to them with that. And so I know not everybody is like a college student on here, obviously, so that's kind of hard. So I'll get into that later, but definitely showing them the end point for where they're working towards has been huge for me. If they don't see what they're like the vision and what they're working towards, they're not going to push for it. And that's what I've really realized, because I think when people tell me no after like my first reach out, I used to just be like, okay, like you're fine, you don't need it, whatever. But I think giving them like a path and what they're working towards and what this could be for them has been so big for me. And that's why following up and talking about, I don't know, maybe like the money side of it, or like the trip side of it, or the ingredients side, whatever, that's been really helpful for me too. Okay, and then I've never thought of this before, but it just kind of came to my head. So I think when people say no, we're kind of like, well, why? Like, why do you say no? Like, why? This is so great. Why do you say no? But when you think about it, it actually is a really scary thing to say yes to. And there are so many objections, and they're bound to come, because I mean, it's network marketing. There's so many negative things surrounding it when it's really not a negative thing at all. But people don't understand that. And so we have to be that person to tell them that. And so I think we need to put ourselves in their shoes more rather than being like, well, why are they saying no? They don't like me. They don't support me, blah, 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 blah. But I think objections are just, they're going to come, and so which means you're not going to have a ton of confidence in them. So, or they're not going to have a ton of confidence in themselves. So a big thing for me is having like double the confidence. So if somebody tells me that sorry, my roommates are being so loud, if you can hear them. What was I even saying? Oh, so yeah, if somebody has like not a lot of confidence in themselves, it's because they don't believe in it yet. They haven't caught the vision yet. And so having double the confidence for them has been like super beneficial for me. And that's just been like really helpful in casting vision, because I think people just have so many objections and I'm like, okay, why though? Like, why? So having double the confidence to make up for their vision they haven't had yet is really helpful. And then it's something that I've been working on a little bit, but it kind of scares me. So I am like a hardcore red personality, if you guys don't know. That's all I am. And so posting out specifically and like reaching out specifically to different color personalities has been really good in like recruiting. I haven't seen a ton of it yet because I just started doing it like literally last week. But that's just, I think it's going to help a lot, because not everybody's like me, and not everybody's going to be like, oh my God, yeah, bonus. People are going to be like ingredients, which is totally not me. But like if someone were to reach out to me about Plexus just because of like the green tea extract and active, or like the fermented fruits and veggies and greens, I would have been like, okay, cool. But like $100, like, no, it's not my thing. And so it's different for everybody. And so I think I need to realize, and like it's good for everybody just to realize, like not everybody cares about the same things that you care about. Okay, that's everything I have on like recruiting. But now I have a ton of little things about college students specifically, because that's been huge in my business lately. And it's just comfortable for me. And so I thought I would just kind of share a little bit about that. And I know Jennifer
Hey,
has some
Kate.
stuff.
Sorry. No, I think
Yeah.
we have about when does this call end? 10,
no.
15? No, you're good. It's 9:50. So I think we have, what is that? 20 minutes, 25 minutes? 20.
Oh shoot. Okay. I'll keep it quick. I'm almost done.
No, I just wanted to let you know you're good.
Okay. So I'll keep this really quick. So college students, definitely appealing to like time and financial freedom. That's been like the biggest thing. For me personally, and maybe you shouldn't do this, but for me personally, I think assuming everybody's like a blue and a red personality has been really helpful for me, because not all college students are going to want to pay $100 for ingredients, and so most of my reach outs for college students have been about the business, and that has been super, super successful. And then let me skip to where it actually gets good. Okay, so there are a lot of questions about like objections about the money and how like what to say people, because I'm obviously we're in college, like we eat ramen noodles and go dining hall. We don't have $100 to spend on greens, and so a big thing for people my age is like the cost part of it. And so what Taylor did for me, she talked about how like you can make 4 times the amount of money you spend to just start, you know what I mean? And so that has been a really big thing for me, bringing that up, because a cost objection is the first thing that I get all the time. And then also time. I feel like I don't have enough time to say all of this. Maybe I can just do this another time. Yeah, so like the time and the money thing, it's just like huge for me, I guess. And then, oh, okay, this is good. So I thought about like, because obviously we're not all college students, and that's like a big thing. And so I thought about, if I wasn't a college student, what would I say to a college student, I guess. And so one of the things that I said, oh, sorry, I just lost it. Oh, okay. So if I wasn't a college student, so I would bring up my story or Jennifer's story or what some girls on my team story, because I think the third party validation is huge for people. And it's just like if you were to meet somebody and tag them in a post on health and happiness, it's the same thing. And putting us in like a 3-way message or anything, and then also just hyping them up. Like everybody loves to be hyped up, and so telling them how much you wish the opportunity you had in college, that would be a great thing. And then also just kind of mentioning how you've been watching them and you love like their hard work and their determination and whatever else you love about them. And so I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind. Should I just skip the rest? There's kind of a lot.
Kate,
No,
you
I
can
mean, you
also type up a post about this too,
Yeah,
so
I
that
think
we
I'm
can
gonna do that
have
because I
it.
kind of wrote a lot of stuff. Okay, well,
Well, and
I
I'm
will just
sure
introduce
Jennifer's
Jennifer and I'll
probably like,
make like a post of some sort about the rest of it if I can. But yeah, also here's Jennifer. So she and I met, we actually played volleyball together on like the same what do you call it? Like the same league, I guess. So we were never on the same team. But I actually met Jennifer through Plexus through Instagram. So I made a post about the opportunity calls and she voted on it. And then she reached out to me about it. And so after the call, I called her and we got set up and we made her 3 people. And it was so cool. So she is amazing and she's a very hard worker and I'm just super proud of her. So here is Jennifer and I'll make a post about the rest of it. I'm sorry that was so rushed.
Hey, so I think I can take off my mask. There's no one around me, but we're just gonna do it. So I met Kate through our like district, and we're like rival schools and whatever. And I knew of her, but we never talked in person. And so one day I saw her post on her story about the opportunity call, and I was very interested because I was running out of money because the semester was almost over with, and I didn't really, with my nursing. So I'm a college student, and I go to Xavier University for nursing, and the classes and the studying is very rigorous, like super strict. And so I couldn't find like a job that like I could just go into from like 3 to 9 or like 9 to 3, like that just couldn't work my schedule. And so I was super interested in her story, and I was like, I reached out to her. I was like, hey, Kate, like, what is this? She sent me the link. I got on. I remember Marissa talking, and it was like something that I probably will never forget because it casted a huge vision in my mind that like I can do this and like I want to reach this. Like Marissa asked in the chat, she was like, and it was like when like the picture shows up of like all of the ranks and what the money can do. And I remember posting that just gold would be huge for me, and I've reached that. And so it's been like a huge vision ever since, and I'll never forget that. But so yeah, so I want to talk about a couple of things. Um, first, I'll talk about the months I've ranked up. So I started November 9th. It's almost 3 months, not 3 months yet, so 2.5 months maybe since I started, and I ranked up 24 hours within starting with the business because Kate reached out to me and was like, she casted the vision of like having the 3 people and like what the 3 people can do for you. And I'm a huge red personality, so I was like, oh shoot, like let's find 3 people. And before I even got my products, I had 3 people lined up behind me to also get their product started. And so I was able to go fast start silver 24 hours within starting. And then I double ranked in the same month and went fast start senior silver around the 24th. I was just sharing with my family around that time. I was reaching out to all my cousins, my aunts, because I was super nervous to branch out to my social media just yet. So that's how I got fast start senior silver. It was not social media at all yet. And then I ranked fast start gold. I think it was mid or late December. I'm not really sure the exact date, but ever since hitting all of those goals within like 2 months of the biz, which is super crazy, I also hit leaders, or I also earned leaders retreat and gold's retreat. And that's super huge for me because that's my first trip in like less than 48 hours, maybe. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, so that's my little like rundown because it's only been like 2.5 months, which is crazy to me. So I have a list of things that I want to talk about because it's more like questions that were asked, or like I get a lot of questions about what's my process of like signing people up and like how do I retain them and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So first I have a message example, and I feel like a lot of people reach out or reach back to you because they want to lose weight. And I found this message that I sent out to be super helpful because not only does it talk about like how you can lose weight with gut health, but like the 60 to 90 days is so important that you stay consistent. And I find most of my like lifer people are from this message because they realize that it's not going to be a quick fix. I'll read it, and then I think Taylor might send it. I can send it also. But it says weight loss is directly related to gut health, and this is why some people can have a rough time losing weight because their body is not ready for weight loss. And they have a lot of underlying things going on that is not allowing your body to function properly to be able to hit weight loss. But when you put gut health first, it allows your body to then heal and then start working towards the weight loss process. This is where I struggled and am so excited to get my health in check so my workouts do not make me feel defeated and I start to see change. And I'll put that in the chat real quick. But I found that a lot of people like love to just hear that, like, because I feel like we're in a society where like a lot of people think that this is going to be a quick fix when it's not going to be, because gut health is like deep in your gut, and like we need to find the underlying problem to be able to fix that, and that's going to take a long time. And so I find a lot of people sticking with me through that message, which is super cool. And so I thought that's why I would share it with you guys, is because maybe you can take it with you and change it the way you love and can relate. I also have another message, and it's talking about, so like when you like talk to someone and you reach out to them, maybe it's a new reach out and they leave you on red, and then you're like defeated because like they didn't message you back. And so I was really bad at this in the beginning. I didn't have the confidence to reach back out, mostly because I thought like I had the mindset that like, oh, they just read it and they're probably judging me. They probably don't want to do this. Like I was hard on myself with those messages when they would just read. And so I came up with a message after hearing a lot of training calls. I like to specifically, if I'm struggling with something or like my mindset isn't where I want, I like to like search for training calls specifically for what I'm struggling with. And since I was struggling with that, I found a call and it stuck to me, and I made a message, and it's been wonders for me. So I'll send this. But it says, "Hi, pretty. I hope I didn't scare you off. I respect you and highly value your opinion. And the last thing I want is for you to feel like I am just another one of those girls asking you to buy something. But I have seen people's lives drastically change over the last month or so of me being with Plexus. And I seriously believe to my core that you would love these supplements and that they can help you. Also, I would love to take a moment to pray for you, whether that be something small or large." And that message I changed it up, of course, with like people, like this was one of my very close family friends. And so I was able to, like, I love and value her opinion. Every time we see each other, we call her pretty or beautiful. So I was able to get on that level with her and just be like, hey, like, I might have scared you, but like, I know this is going to help you. And so I don't know. I just really love that message, and I wanted to share that. And then I want to talk about, so there's like two things that I want to talk about that I've told people, and it's been like a light bulb to some people. And so I want to share it with you guys. And the first one I want to talk about is when you talk to people and they're like sketched out about the biz. They're sketched out about the supplements, sketched out about the company, just like sketched out, hesitant, doesn't really know if they want to join. Like, I love to put a little more like information in their minds about what the company is. And I was talking to Taylor and Kate about this, and I guess they never thought about it. So I think it's unique that I thought about this. But I like to talk about how our first product was like related to like breast cancer, and how we started on this aspect because I find it to be huge for me at least. And so I start off with that, and then I say that we ended up branching out to other aspects of health and have gotten like just great response when I say this to people, because they're like, oh, okay, like they're not just like a scam, like blah 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 blah. Like they're like more like, I don't want to say like, they're more like connecting with it, I think. I don't know the word I'm looking for. um, but I love that. Like just I love talking about like our first product and like how the company came to be. So I thought that was cool, and that's what I also like to do. Um, but I also, a lot of people say they get no's and they don't really know how, like every time they reach out, they always get a no. And just keep reaching out. But I also love the idea. I haven't been able to do this yet because I just haven't gotten to it, or I guess like I've thought of it but like haven't applied it. So apply it, and I'm gonna apply it too. um but I love the idea of when someone's saying no and they post about a struggle they may have, to like make a post up about what they're struggling with, that like maybe you struggled with too, so you're able to relate to this, or that someone else is relating to it, so you could put it in your post or ask them to put it in a post, and just like write up something, so like the person that's struggling with it but said no to you, and then you make a post about what she's struggling with and what the supplements can do for her. And I find that like I've seen people get like reach outs from that, or like maybe you can reach out and be like, hey, I just posted this and I saw you were struggling with it. Can we talk? Or something like that. And since, okay, I think okay, we're on retention now. So I like to go through the process of how I talk to my people. So when I get them signed up, I like to stay in contact. And after I sign them up, we talk about like making sure they get back to me when we get their, like she receives her supplements. And when they do, like before they get their supplements, I may occasionally send them a video of what pack they have and what it can do for them, or like a simple video about that. I do that occasionally. It's very rare, but I've gotten good response from that. And then I also love to talk about detox with them after they get their supplements, and how important it is to reach out if they are going through detox symptoms. And so I do have a message example for that also. I watched a training video about retention. I also sent that to Kate, and I can send that in the chat. But it's really helped me. I don't know if I can do this. It's really helped me realize that like before watching this, I didn't really know much about like detox and that perspective of our business and our supplements. And so this is a message I sent, and I said, I'll be in touch with you. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to invite you to our gut health and happiness group. Accept the request when you get a chance. I want to tag you in a post about detox. It rarely happens, but just in case it does, because we are going to heal our gut, I wanted to warn you. At least as yeast dies, it is releasing a lot of toxins as it is dying. So if you are killing it off faster than your liver can process it, then, well, hold on. Then you're going to feel worse before you feel better. So it's kind of like when you're like, I like the example of when they're like unsure of it. I like to say the example of like, if you go work out, you feel fine when you work out, but then after you're like super sore. And then as the days go on, you get super sore. But then it's like the thought process after that is like you're gaining muscle, or like stuff like that. Like I love showing like examples of those too. But like, so I think that's pretty much it. So like I talk about detox, but I also like check up on their life. I see if there's anything that I can pray for them about. Because faith is super huge for me and my business. And I just stay in touch with people who are new more often than others. And then I also wanted to talk about a growth mindset. So growth mindset has been absolutely like I think it's like the main reason that like I've grown so much. It's I think it's made me like have like a no quit attitude and like learn how to like pivot my business more. So like if I'm like struggling with something, having a growth mindset pivots what I'm struggling with and then I figure out a way around it. Um so I have example that I want to tell you guys, but then I want you guys, at least one person, like respond to how you think you can change that. And so instead of saying like, oh, this month looks like I'm not going to hit my goal or I'm not going to hit my rank, like, how can you twist that? Like, does anyone have an answer? Like, how do you think that you could like make a growth mindset out of being like I didn't hit my rank this month? Does anyone
I think
have?
kind of, no, I think just kind of like what Kate did earlier. It's like, okay, you know, you can either choose to be like, okay, this sucks, like I'm gonna quit, I'm never gonna do this again, or it's like, okay, this sucks, I don't want to be back here. Like, how can I pivot this, you know? And I know for me, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna do better next month. Like the no quit attitude for me is just like where it is. It's like, okay, this isn't fun. How can I pivot? What podcast can I go listen to? What training video can I go watch? What book can I go read? You know, things like that.
Yeah, I love that. And my example was like, I would say it looks like I might not hit my rank, but guess what? I'm gonna come back and double rank. And Kate did that. So that's a perfect example. um, but yeah, so I think this is pretty much all I had. I did have a podcast, which I'll send in like the group message. It's your virtual upline podcast about strategy for increasing network marketing retention. Kate sent this to me because I was working on retention after I added like 20 people and I needed help with like how to like retain people. And she sent me this podcast and one thing really stuck out to me that I wanted to share. And it says more information or more values does not equal more retention. Information and value is like water. Too much water is just as bad as too little water. So you want to be giving your people information, but not too much information because you may overwhelm them or burn them out, drown them. like I just absolutely love that because I didn't know how much information to give. I didn't know, like I used to like word vomit in my like messages when I first started reaching out to people, and I feel like because I was giving them too much information instead of like simmering it down and asking questions, that like it might have like overwhelmed people and they didn't want to respond. And so I just loved that quote and I wanted to share that. But I think that's all I have to hit on. Taylor, did I miss anything? Okay.
Can I just
No.
add something in really quick? You guys there? I just loved, oh, thanks. I see you now. I just loved the piece how you said like that little exercise you did at the end, and maybe it's because I'm a teacher and the fact that you wanted people to actually respond, I thought was kind of cool. But I think that like just that whole aspect of like, even if you don't hit it right now, like we're coming into the end of January and there could be a lot of people on this call feeling like I'm not at my goal. I didn't do half of what I said I was going to do. And I feel like I suck, whatever. Yes. And so if you are one of those people, what I love about like what you just did is just the fact that like that doesn't mean you have to give up right now. Like you can still be doing the things that will get you there, maybe not in the timeline that you wanted, but like if you just stop now, then you're going to be trying to pick back up in February, like moving into action, and going from no action to action is a lot harder than to stay in action, even if you're not hitting your goal. So it's just going to help you get to your next place quicker than if you put on the brakes, you know? So I just love that piece. And my immediate thought when you said that was like, well, I didn't hit my goal yet. Like, and I didn't hit it in my original timeline, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. So love that. And I love how you guys have been doing that. Like, so Yay.
Yeah, no, I loved all of that. No, I'm just really proud of you guys. And I think what you're doing is amazing. And I'm so glad that you came on here and shared, because I think sometimes it's nice to have like a perspective too from somebody that maybe isn't in the same season of life that we're in. And so I'm just thankful for y'all. Do you guys have any questions for them? I know Callie had asked one, and Kate, I'll ask it to you, but I feel weird asking it to you because it's me. But
Can I ask it?
Callie,
You want me to ask it?
can you ask it? I don't want to ask her.
Yeah. That's funny. Great job, girls. I'm like always the bad kid texting on the side, but I'm texting my friends talking about how awesome y'all are. So, totally in awe of like what y'all stand for. I was not this bad at when I was in college. So bravo. My question, Kate, is, did you feel as though you decided to go for it when it came to the business because of what did I say? And I didn't say role model, because
You said mentor.
yes, did you view Taylor as a mentor? And so you trusted her, to kind of guide you along?
Yeah, I think I definitely viewed her as a mentor. I think like the business side of things was definitely because she showed me Lauren Thomas, just because I actually saw somebody who was in my shoes do it. But Taylor is definitely like a mentor to me. She's like my little plexus mom through all of it. But yeah, I think like business wise, seeing somebody before me do it has been like super. That's like why I said yes. I think.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any other questions or thoughts or anything before we hop off?
I do. Is there anything specific y'all do in your onboarding process? Like right now, I'm trying to just kind of figure out like my own onboarding process, like a system to do every single time, to get my girl silver. So is it just starting from the beginning when you sign them, or do you have like, I know Jennifer shared a couple of things that she does. Does that make sense? Did my question make sense?
Yeah, and I think Jennifer touched on it too. But for me, my biggest thing is getting them on the phone, talk about like the nitty gritty things like IPA or like goal setting or events and stuff like that, just because I think it's super overwhelming to do when you first sign them up. So I like to sign them up either on the phone, probably on the phone. I like to do that, but then I like to have another call later, just going over like all the little things. I think it's super overwhelming if you just do it, like text them like a podcast or text them like an event to go to. So that's a huge part of what I do when I first sign them up.
Yeah, I think it looks different for like, so like I signed a lot of people up for the supplements recently. And so like I went through like what I do for like people who sign up for the supplements. But like it kind of looks a little different for like I signed up someone recently and I didn't want to overwhelm her with information. So I sent her a voice message here or there, and I always make sure that like if she has questions, she could reach out to me. So I'm always there and I always but I don't think I have like a process yet, if that makes sense.
And I think too, just like piggybacking off of them, like something that they both are really, really good at, and something that they have like implemented with their onboarding has been like, instead of bringing up like, who are your three people in your inner circle? Like we use that verbiage a ton. Like, who are those three people in your inner circle that if you called right now and said, hey, I'm doing Plexus, like, will you support me and do this with me? They have that conversation with them before they even buy their welcome pack. That's not a conversation they have afterwards. Because I think what all three of us have found, just like trial and erroring this, is that a lot of people, especially college students, like at least what I have noticed, kind of need a clear pathway as to where is that money coming from. Like, don't sign me up and then put me in the dark. Like, let's get a clear path as to how I'm going to get this bonus, and then let's sign up, and then let's do the things, and then they get it. So like for both of them, they had their three people way before they even bought their welcome pack. And then when they got their welcome pack, we were like, great, now we're going to reach out to those three people. And then they both went silver in in about a week. because they already had those 3 people lined up, rather than having that conversation after the fact. They weren't jumping in blind. They knew exactly what they were going to do well before they even like purchased anything. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. Okay. So that's something that we've kind of been pivoting and doing. Anybody else? These are really good questions, by the way.
I just wanted to point out, because I know Kate touched on it, but I remember so vividly Kate saying she wasn't going to post on Instagram, and like and feeling like and Taylor was like how do I get her to do it, because I know that like she will do so great when she does that, right? And so that's just like, to me, symbolizes like how we as humans like instinctively like we put up the wall at like that scary thing. Shh, buddy. We put that wall up, and like, I mean, Kate, can you imagine if you were like still posting on Facebook? Like you would be maybe senior silver, you know? So, okay, continue, buddy. So I just
all
think
of my 200 followers.
right. Yeah. So sorry, guys. But I just think that that's just like a really good symbolization or whatever of just like, one of the things that we naturally do is like, we're like, well, I know I have all my friends and like all these people on Instagram, and this is just an example, but you know, like, but yet I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that, you know? So I just encourage you to like kind of take that, everybody here, just to take that and like think about that thing. Like, what is that? Is it a somebody that you want to do this with, or is it like, have you not reached out to a certain part of your network? Maybe you have a, I don't know, Army Wives network or a softball moms network, or like maybe you haven't reached out to part of your network and tapped into it, and like that is where the fruit of your like connections are going to be, is that place that is like makes you feel nervous and sweaty and scary. So yeah, I just can't imagine if you like hadn't expanded to Instagram, Kate, like where you would be. So proud of you.
Yeah, Katie, I love that. Because I feel like that's so true. I feel like, and I mean, I feel like too, we put up that wall because it's scary, and we know that like that fear of maybe what other people are going to think of us, like that's probably something that you're going to feel if you have to step out of that comfort zone. And so I totally agree. Okay, y'all. Well, do you guys have any other questions, or are you feeling confident?
I have a question for you guys. So I know I didn't get through all of mine, and I feel bad. I feel like I way overdid everything. So is there anything I didn't touch on that you guys like would have wished I would have like started with? So I can make a post about it. I just feel like I don't know what to like necessarily make a post about, I guess. Is there anything that you specifically wanted to hear about that you didn't get an answer to?
I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you're like working around that cost objection, specifically with like the college aged network. I think that would be really helpful.
I agree. I also think that if you could like add in like how we could like approach some of the younger kids. So like I've got a niece that is in college here in St. George that, you know, I'd like to be able to, you know, have, you know, your story, Kate, and Jennifer's, and, you know, your team, to be able to show her, you know, the possibilities, and to show her that it's not just her crazy aunt that's selling this pink drink, and that she can do it too. So anything that would help, you know, help us reach out to, you know, those kids, to show them that they can do it at their age. So.